Welcome to another episode of the Off-Air Voiceover podcast, folks. My name, of course, is Michael.
And I'm Jen. Welcome. Super excited this week. We are joined by the amazing Lizzie. Woohoo!
Welcome to the shit
amazing.
show, Lizzie.
Wow.
The amazing Lizzie. Yeah, like I imagine like juggling then, like sorry, not the amazing Lizzie.
Jungle sounds slightly more apt, actually.
We can maybe add some jungle music
jungling
in.
along, jungling.
We
Lizzie,
appreciate...
Sorry, Michael.
Go on, no, it's already started.
No, I was going to say, for anybody who doesn't know you, would you mind introducing yourself?
So I'm Lizzie Jobling, and I'm a full-time VO and voiceover business coach, and the new director of the Voice Finder.
Yeah, it's exciting. What a big year you've had.
Yeah,
you know what
we're only in April. Fuck.
Do you know what I saw? I obviously saw you at the Great Big Social. I didn't really get loads of chance to talk to you because I was on the helping committee.
You were busy, yeah.
But no, I saw obviously all the. We'll go into it in a bit more detail later. But yeah, all the little material that you had for the goodie bags and stuff for the voice finder. Like a lot of people are talking about it. Like it is quite a well spoken about thing about your acquisition and your takeover. And
I am ramming it down people's necks. That's why. It's the only way.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into all that, then, so how are tricks? I've literally not properly. I mean, even in the build up to this, we sort of only organised it a few days ago. So so how are things? Are you all right?
Yeah, everything's good. Just kind of like
sorry,
juggling, life and working and new puppies and just the juggle.
New business and new puppy. That is already a lot. Never mind
everything
else.
One thing about getting a puppy, I tell you what, having a puppy, in my experience, like Rolo is the first puppy I've had in over a decade, and you kind of forget how much hard work it is having a puppy. It's like literally every second they are trying to do something to eliminate themselves from this world, and it's like, don't chew that, literally. Don't eat this, don't jump off that.
You know that funny.
Off.
You know that tune that people make reels on Instagram, and it's like fun ways to die.
Oh yeah.
Like every moment I'm like, I could make a reel on that. Like, yeah, he's a bit of a div actually, but yeah, it's all fun and games. Brings much joy to this very miserable planet.
Do you ever get? Is this your first dog? Have you got another dog?
No, this is my second dog. So
did you ever get the puppy blues? Do you know what the puppy blues are?
Well, I guess it's a bit like when people want another child.
No, it's the opposite. It was more like, why did I do this? Why did that sound?
Okay.
It was basically...
Not yet, but he did only arrive on Wednesday evening.
Okay.
So at the minute...
There's still time.
Yeah, and quite frankly, he's just actually ridiculously cute. So I think that's just nature's way of being like, I'm a little shit, but I'm so cute. Like you're just not going to care for a little bit.
Yeah, you'll get over it.
So that's where I'm at right now, as he's eating the AstroTurf, and I'm watching. Go you!
We literally, after we got him, we love him to pieces, and I always use that distinction. Like, yes, it's stressful, yes, it's hard work, but he brings more joy than he gives headache. But yeah, I think it's massively underestimated how much hard work it is having a puppy. Like massively.
Well, I guess. The thing is, it is if you're doing it properly. Yeah. Right? Because you could just let, same with kids, you could just let it do what the fuck it likes and whatever. But if you want to do it properly and you want to have a nice family pet or nice children for that matter, you've got to have some structure and some rules and some stuff in place, which is so much effort. Yeah.
I totally agree. Like I was just saying before, he's off at the vets now, so he's had his testicles snipped off. So he's going to come back a slightly different dog. He's never. Do you know what? Some dogs hate going to the vet. Like they get there and they're like, "Why have you brought me here?" And he's always been great with the vet, but I think today is the day.
Yeah, I know. Today's the turning point.
Today is the day where that relationship drastically changed.
Oh no! Yeah, our puppy will be taking that little trip for sure.
Shame that I'm saying it.
That's right. Okay. I'll get my girlfriend to do it so he doesn't associate me with the problem.
So let's get into it. So take us back to, well, obviously divulge whatever you're comfortable divulging, but just take us back to this whole the voice finder thing, sort of where it came about, how it came about in terms of, you know, like, because obviously from going from a working voice actor, I know you do the coaching stuff, which I want to talk about later, but like, yeah, I guess obviously because this is like it's a huge string to your bow, and it obviously must require a lot of time. So how did it all come about?
Well, I was approached by actually, if I start right back at the beginning, when I first got into the industry, into the voiceover industry, I spent a year training, and one of the platforms that I came across and that was recommended to me was the Voice Finder. And so I've had an affiliation with the online directory for the past 8 years. And I knew the original owner, who started the company, Kane Harrison. And Kane sold the company to Jack Allen. And I'd worked with both of those guys. And Jack approached me last summer and said, look, I've got, it was obviously, I've got the Voice Finder. I've got some other projects that are really taking off. I haven't really got the time to give it the attention it needs. I'm looking to sell. Would you be interested? And I thought, ooh, yeah, that'd be great. And then everyone I spoke to was like, ooh, no, don't do that. You haven't got enough time. So for a brief second, I nearly did what someone else told me, which is just, bleh, who's going to do that? And then I sat on it for a bit and I just thought, fuck it. I can do that. I am a voice talent. I don't know of, I'm sure there are some, but I don't know of any online directories that are run by voice talents. I think it's quite a unique selling point because I do understand the struggle of being a voice talent. Obviously, I'm a voiceover business coach, and I thought I can definitely handle this online directory. Sure thing. Well, fuck me. What a lie. What a fucking lie. And I'm not going to pretty it up because it's been an absolute monster. And I wrongly so thought, this will be a nice bit of passive income, in all honesty, is what I thought, because, it's all set up.
It's an investment.
You're a businesswoman. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's, it's established. It's nearly 10 years old. It's well established, reputable, all set up, easy peasy. I can do that. Well, that was not the case. The whole thing needed rebuilding completely in order to make it even be a passive income, because the website was archaic. The coding in the back end was just not in line with today's SEO and all of this stuff. And, it just needed for it to function and for it to be a business and for it to work for the voice talent on it, i.e. me, because I am a voice talent on it. Yeah. And I've been for 8 years. And I just, I was like, I could keep it as it is. And I just feel it will die a death because people will just not want to pay their money because they can't log in properly, or they're not getting enough inquiries, or they can't update their profiles properly, and all these things that you just pay your money for, right?
Yeah.
And I thought that eventually it will just die, and that would be terrible. So, by this point, it was too late. I'd already bitten the bullet. I took it on. So I thought, all right, fuck it. If I'm going to do it, I might as well do it properly. So I invested a lot of time and a lot of money in having the whole thing rebuilt. So I had a company rebuild the website. So that sort of meant taking a carbon copy of the website as it was, rebuilding it on their hosting platform. And then I had to change a whole kind of shit ton of stuff on it. One of the predominant things that I've introduced is the model before was you pay your money, you get your listing. That's great. No. I don't work like that as a voice talent. I don't teach like that as a coach. So I introduced submission requirements, professional headshot, professional reels, and a sample of your recording space. Because if I'm going to work my arse off marketing the company to proper paying clients, I need to be able to present a really proper body of voice talent. And if I got my name attached to something, I want it to be, done properly. So, that did throw up some challenges because not everybody was used to that.
I think it's the best way of doing it. I can't remember who I was talking to, but we were talking about, remember the website Mandy? We were talking about that the other day. Who was that? Well, it'll come back to me at like 4 o'clock in the morning, but whoever I was talking to, we were saying about how the platform had changed a lot, especially like post-COVID. But one of the main things was, and I do actually remember speaking to some people who used to advertise jobs on Mandy, and they came off it, and they basically said it's because we just get a sea of applications where it's people sat in like in their kitchen,
baked bean tin.
Right, exactly. Like they're sat in the kitchen. It's just so echoey. Like clearly, like no professional environment, not on a professional microphone, no professional experience in any way, shape, or form. And they're submitting us auditions, and like they said, like we'd get like 200 auditions, and he went, you could probably write off 90% of them. They were just terrible in quality. The experience was non-existent, and so we just came off it. So I think this vetting process is absolutely the right way to go if you want to get, you know, good quality. Because obviously, like you say, like it's your reputation as well. People know, if we get an audition from a client off the Voice Finder, we know these people know what they're doing.
Certain caliber.
It's not, absolutely. So,
and as voice talent, you want to be part of that. You don't want to be part of something that's like shoddy, do you?
The masses.
You want to know, that it's top quality and people on there.
Yeah.
Did you? Sorry, Lizzie.
Go on.
I was just going to say, because you mentioned a little bit before Michael started asking his question, but about it flew up some issues. So did you have people who were on there that you then had to be like, could you adapt?
No, actually, only a few in regards to professional headshots.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. That's fine. They're really talented. VOs, amazing, reels, and ultimately...
You've not always needed that, have you? And I feel like now you probably do, but...
Yeah. So that's not been too hard, but I've had, for 2026, I'm keeping the books open until 300. And so I think there's about 60 spots left or something.
Yeah.
But I've had hundreds of submissions and it is quite astounding how many people don't read instructions. Like, I didn't know this.
I hear that a lot from people.
It's like wild. It is wild to me.
I think Susie said that when she was on. She said, like, it's a lot. I'm sure it was Susie. She said it's a
There's
lot.
so
how
many
people
have said
don't
it.
read basic instructions.
Yeah.
I don't get
and
it.
It's, there's been people that have submitted and they are really talented VOs, but their recording space is just not good enough. And, I explain what that means, what a studio bass law is, people can be mean, actually. But little do they know who they're emailing. So
I was going to say, because you've got quite an interesting perspective because you get to see both sides of the coin now. So
and it's really interesting, actually. Yeah, because I haven't seen that, and obviously, I'm not one of the beauties of the actual platform is I'm not actually involved in any of the casting. Yeah. We don't jobs. This is an online directory only. So that way I don't take commission from any work, which is really good. And clients don't pay any fees. So it's like win-win. But it is, I've been like, obviously in communications with a lot of VOs, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, if you speak to me like this, how are you speaking to your clients? Like, I'm really flabbergasted about just how rude people can be. Like, and I'm quite a forthright individual, and I don't, even in my marketing efforts, I'm not, hi, how are you? I loved that thing you did in 1997 with your auntie's dog, blah, blah, blah. I'm not like that. I'm pretty to the point, and I'm, quite professional like that. And so that's fine to be like to the point.
Yeah, there's such a difference between forthright and rude.
Yeah,
man, people are so rude, and it's really,
like in an egotistical way.
In just like they obviously are just a bit like, who I don't know, that they just think.
Like,
it's really hard to describe.
Staff, almost like staff, like as if you're beneath them in some way because you're that's awful. Yeah, and it is awful because I talk about, especially on social media, here at the Voice Finder, we at the Voice Finder. There's no we. It's me, myself, and I. It's a royal we.
Right, it's a royal we. but even the email signature is signed off the voiceover team, the voicefinder team, the voicefinder team. And so I just think people forget that they're actually, or unaware that they are emailing an individual, like a real life person.
Anybody though, I don't agree with that. But also you're future proofing, because at some point you might need support. So the real we might turn in the actual we.
Yeah, 100%. But it's it has been interesting, and it's definitely thrown up some. Yeah, as you said, Michael, the other side of the coin. I just mainly just thinking like, wow, like I would just literally never speak to anyone how you're speaking to me. That's crazy. And also just some other weird kind of things that have thrown up with other businesses within the industry. And just having to realise that.
You do know when we press stop on this recording, I'm getting some names.
I know. Maybe you should stop naming and shaming. Right?
I think, just people get funny when they see you're doing something and you're going to do it fucking hard. People get funny. And
is it like maybe a threat thing? Competition?
You said it, not me. It's really difficult, because ultimately I am, a one-woman band. I'm working my fucking arse off, and I am super inclusive. I'm all about, the industry ultimately, because one key thing to say is ultimately the reason I actually took the Voicefinder on and did what I did, which I didn't know I was going to do at the time. I adore being a voice actor. I love it. I've never been good at anything else. And I am not letting this industry go down anywhere. Yeah. So in order to protect the longevity of my career, I have to protect the voiceover industry. And the Voicefinder has become the perfect little slice of this, because I can keep standards high, I can keep training high, I can keep knowledge high, and I can just do that. So it's good for my career. It's good for everybody's career within the voiceover industry. So with that in mind, as you may well know, I've got a lot of affiliates and collaborations going on with the Voicefinder. So if you're a member of the Voicefinder, you get certain discounts and signposting to other services within the industry. I want as many reputable industry service providers on there as possible, because I just think that's a really sensible thing to do. Yeah. But that in itself has thrown up some strange stuff.
Have you been able to?
It's tricky being on my own, managing it all. And I'm like, sometimes I'm not going to lie, I have felt quite bullied at times by people. But I'm a big, strong lady. Look after myself.
Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you before. I was just wondering, like, are you able to veto clients if they come in with like a lowball offer, or like in terms of the platform? Do you find out what they're looking for first, or are you just completely hands off?
Absolutely. So it is literally, if you imagine like an Argos catalogue. Yeah. You're going in, flip, choose. However, I'm just sorry, just got the puppy that's on a little bit of a.
You carry on today.
Oh shit. Excuse me. Come here, you. Come here. Oh, you little rat. Come here. Sorry. I'm just getting for a minute. Now you come through then. Right.
Oh, look at that.
So cute. You guys got to watch this on video to see.
Line. He's got my hair.
His face. Wow.
Oh, he's perfect. But he does like to eat all my flowers. So sorry, Michael. What were you saying before I got distracted by puppy?
No, it was Jen. What were we saying?
Oh, just about the vetoing clients, the rates and things.
Yeah, so I'm not involved in any of that, thank God. However, I do have talent listed on the site that say a client's reached out and they've had a query about the cost, and then I am happy to say this is what I'd be offering and what I'd be charging, but it's up to you. And ultimately, it is down to every voice talent, irrespective of whether it's the Voicefinder or your own client, to know what you're willing to charge and what you're not willing to get paid. But I will always offer support, but absolutely not. If a client finds the site, offers some shocking rate to a talent, it's down to the talent to stand their ground on that.
Yeah. Do you have, just on that, do you have like a part of the page that says we are, as professional voice actors, we tend to use industry standard, which is linked to the Grade for the Brain or something, like these are the if there's clients who have no idea what professional voice actors charge, like whether that's useful to have a resource for them or.
Yeah, no, to be fair, that is not on the website. No. That's a really brilliant idea. Thank you, Jen. That'll give me something to do this afternoon. But I would say that's a really good idea. The types of voice talent that are coming to the site and getting approved, they are doing that themselves.
Yeah, it was just more for the client.
But for the client side, absolutely. But it's a really good idea, and it's definitely something actually that I will definitely be adding.
Yeah, but I think because they've come to your site, I think they're probably going to be good quality clients anyway, aren't they? Because otherwise they'll be going somewhere else, and I feel like they have to have a reasonable amount of business acumen to know that. But
so for those that want to try and get one of the last 60 spots, then just what's the
it's around 60. Don't quote me 60. Like it might be 52 for all I know today. Like every time I open my inbox, like bing.
So what's the typical onboarding process that someone should expect if they're going to try and sign up? Like what should they expect to do?
So what happens? So you go to the website www.thevoicefinder.com. That's really important. There is a company in Europe called voicefinder.com, so that's created a lot of fun challenges. And then the submission process is laid out as literally a form: name, contact information. You upload your professional headshot. You upload your professional reels, and you upload a dry, unprocessed studio sample. You click submit. I get a bing. Such and such has submitted their profile for auditing, and within, I'd say 24 hours, but if I'm being honest, 24 seconds, I've looked at that and I've listened to it. And then I literally send an approval email. You've been approved to the Voice Finder, follow these steps. And then once they followed those steps, then you're live on the site. That's it.
For the people that maybe don't get approved, or like, do you speak to them and say things they might need
Absolutely.
to improve
on? 100%. Oh, yeah. 100%. And because also, I think it's really important to make clear, I don't care how long you've been in the industry.
Yeah.
Right? I was new once, but what I did, and I guess the types of talent that I'm looking for that might be less experienced, is that you just have the right attitude. And the right attitude looks like, okay, you're stepping into a creative industry, but that doesn't mean you get to sidestep the business stuff. It doesn't mean you get to sidestep investing in yourself, in professional headshots, professional reels and the rest of it, and training, vocal training and things like that. So you can be inexperienced and still be starting on the right foot. That's it. There's no, you have to have been in the industry for 5 years, or you have to have completed 15 jobs. No, like, I will listen. If you've got raw talent, that's good. And, raw talent can be built upon. If I listen back to my initial reels, I'm like, ooh, God, really cringe, right? But I was fine. And you build upon that, and you can only build upon it if people are willing to give you the option, the opportunity to do that. So it's not a length of experience or anything like that, but it is a definite type of attitude that I'm kind of looking for.
Do you find through some of the submissions that aren't successful, is there like a common pattern where some people are maybe trying to run before they can walk, sort of thing? Because like I was saying before about the Mandy thing, there was quite a lot of people where they didn't really, they might have been told, my mum said I got a nice voice, so I'm just going to record on my phone and try and do professional work without going through the general steps to get to that stage. Is that a bit of a trait? Do you see any of that?
I guess the common theme is DIY reels.
Right, okay.
DIY reels, which I just really don't like. But the thing is, if you've got a skill set for being a sound engineer and editing and all the snazzy stuff that I can't fucking do, and you are maybe a super good script writer and you just so happen to want to be a voice talent, like I shouldn't be able to tell the difference then. So DIY reels are fine. Like, if you're really good at that, that's great. But I haven't come across that yet. So the DIY reels are quite common. But just people's lack of understanding about their recording spaces, and really, like, I guess what I kind of consider basic things, but maybe I'm just a bit warped. I don't know. Like, when I've sort of said to someone, I'm going to need your BSF, for example. That's a lie. That's studio base floor. Sorry, I've had a bit of a traumatic event happen last week, so my brain's a bit mushy. I'm going to need your studio base floor. And they're like, well, what's that? And I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know. But it's interesting to me because those kind of really basic things that I presume to be basic, some of those people have got the most incredible reels, and they're like really talented, like fucking way better than me, basically. But they've done training, they've spent loads of money on these reels, but wherever they've been learning from, they haven't even been told like the next things that are just going to be fundamental to their career. Because what are you going to do with a reel if you haven't got a space to record anything that a client can use? And that's making me really angry, actually, because when I've given feedback to people, like, really love your reels, you're really talented, which is all true. But sadly, your recording space just isn't up to the standard of which we need. This has caused people to become quite cross because I've just spent X amount of money on training. I've just spent X amount of money on my demo reels. Nobody's mentioned this to me. Why are you now asking me for this? And it's like, man, like, well, someone's just done you a disservice then, because...
I remember when I first started, one of the first things that stuck with me was I was doing coaching with a guy called Gary Terza. He's where I started. And he basically said, look, you can get a professional reel done. But if your recording space, like if you send your demo in and people go, yeah, we like that, and then they ask you for a custom demo, and it sounds worlds apart from what your reel is, when you are literally like...
setting yourself up to fail.
Cock blocking yourself, for want of a better phrase. So I really stuck with me that. I was like, work on that space, because like if it's all well and good handing in a professional demo, you got all the bells and whistles, but if what you provide in the real world, in a real live situation, can't even compete with that sound, then unless they invite you to the studio, which is different. But in general, if that home studio sound isn't up to a certain standard, it's a massive disservice to yourself. Really,
100%.
Totally agree.
Sorry, Michael.
No, sorry, go on.
I was going to change it slightly and just say about like finding clients. So like, are you on a mission now to try and promote it to the buyers?
Absolutely. Yeah. And to be honest, I just apply the same process as I do for my own voiceover career.
Okay, that's cool.
There's nothing different. Online presence is just so important, whether that be appearing in Google or search engines or social media. But direct outreach to clients that use voice is just fundamental. Absolutely. Yeah.
I struggle to market my own business. Never mind trying to market a second.
The thing is, I mean, I'm not going to lie. My own voiceover kind of push has totally taken a back seat because, I'm literally one person and there are only 24 hours in the day. Yeah. But all the foundations I laid for myself allow for this time to be like, I don't need to go hunting for 800 new clients this month. It's all good. Like, it's okay. And I can fall back on that. But it's just absolutely paramount that ultimately people get inquiries, at the minimum that people get inquiries, and at the maximum that people book jobs. That's what it's all about ultimately. Yeah.
I do think it's wicked. Like, I mean, when you're self-employed, I'm coming up, when 2028, I'll be 20 years self-employed. One of the biggest things I've taken away is that you can't rely on one source of income. Now, I'm fortunate that voiceover is my main source of income and it's what I do full time. However, we all have those peaks and troughs.
Yeah.
And that's why I have things going on in the background that I sort of keep my ear to the ground with other bits and things that are going on. But I don't like to get too distracted. However, I do often think about things I can do in conjunction with voiceover, like to have that additional income stream, so you're always sort of protected in some respects. So I think what you're doing is actually an excellent idea, because you're combining your experience of the industry. You know what it's like to be on a P2P. You know where it goes wrong. You know how it could be improved. And you kind of have control of all of that. So, and obviously, it's an investment. It's a business, of course. You don't do it for the fun of it. You do it to try and make money. But I think at the same time, because of your experience and your ability to see it in a certain way, I think it can only flourish, because I can imagine it's like a passion project, but something that you've got.
I reckon you do it for the challenge as well. You're like, I want to see how far I can take this.
Well, also, it's a really good idea.
As I mentioned, when I first sort of took it on, or even considered taking it on, I did just think this will be a bit of passive income. But now, as mentioned, like it's just like my little slice of the industry to be like, no, we're keeping this shit going. Yeah. Is, you know, what we're doing.
Have you come across that thing online called School, SKOOL?
Yeah.
I have been deep diving the shit out of that. I have been really deep diving. It's Steph and I thinking about. So basically, School is like, and I'm not trying to create competition because it's out there for you all to see, but basically, School is like an online community where you can provide resources, material of any niche, of any industry, of any passion projects, what people want to learn more, like you can help them. It's not coaching in the traditional sense. It's not.
Yeah, I've been approached by some. It wasn't School. It was someone else who were doing a similar thing. Actually,
it's not a digital product. It's not an ebook. It's like resources. And so what you do is you charge like, you can charge like a monthly membership fee of like 20 quid, 30 quid. And then the idea is that you then upload loads of information. So Steph and I have been looking into it, thinking about doing a joint one because we've got a slightly unique angle about working with international clients. But basically what you do is you create all these different videos, materials. Like so for me to get my visa into France, I had to do a big business plan. And I remember when I got approved, I did a little post about saying how, irrespective of visas, forget all that, just writing a business plan is so... like there's so many benefits to your own personal business because it gives it a structure. It gives you like something formulaic that you can look at and go. Because when I was writing it, I was like, holy shit, there's actually loads I could be doing to grow my business, and it was all research based. So anyway, what School does is you create this platform or this school essentially. And for those people that maybe want to become a voice actor, for example, if that's what your niche is going to be, you create all this material, and we would probably do it on like how like the marketing side of it, the business side of it, reading scripts, and you do like a live one. And there's some people that are doing it already, and they're making good money off it. And like I just thought, I'd love to get into coaching one day. I've made no secret of that. I absolutely love the idea of getting into coaching. But I thought maybe the school element of it as a side thing, as a bit of a side quest, could combine a bit of everything, like continuing to work, showing the work side of it, not coaching in the traditional sense, but certainly like helping people understand the industry or the business side of it a bit. But I don't know. We're all just researching at the moment. I just thought it was fascinating. Really thought it was fascinating.
It's really blowing up, School. It's getting a bit
SKOOL.
SKOOL, yeah.
Why do they feel the need to write with a K?
It's edgy, isn't it?
It's not edgy though.
It's well cool.
But yes, I think like for any line of work, if you're self-employed, I think having a separate thing on the go is great. But I think having a separate thing that works in conjunction with your main thing, in my opinion, I think is such a solid win. So yeah.
Yeah, so tell us, actually, leading on from that, like, tell us more about your second business, the business coaching that you do.
So
I feel like Michael and I both need that.
Well,
sometimes.
Yeah.
I think of myself.
So do I. I mean, do as I say, not as I do, quite frankly. I'll be teaching and I'll be like, Lizzie, you absolute dickhead. Why are you not doing that? Do you know that? Yeah. I'll give you an example, right? So I go through people's websites or kind of what should be on a website, blah, blah. And every time I get to the studio bit, the home studio bit, of which I never recommend calling it your home studio, right? It doesn't need to be a home studio. If it's broadcast quality, it's a broadcast quality recording studio. It's not a home studio. That's what I believe. And every time I'm like, right, so one thing you can do is we can add a demo of your recording space here so that clients can hear what they can expect. I've been teaching that for 5 years. Have I got that on my fucking website? What? Like, what? Anyway. So I started coaching 6 years ago. And how it sort of came to be was in my old life, I'd worked in education and social care. So I'm quite familiar with working with people and teaching and that sort of thing. And I'd done this year's training of VO alongside my real life job, as it were. Yeah. And I'd saved up an amount of money, a few months' salary of what I could survive on. And I quit my job. And then I marketed my arse off. I worked really, really hard. And by really hard, I mean, I was literally sending hundreds of emails a day. Like, I'm just a little bit insane. I like that. And so it seemed like on the surface, I guess, that I'd had quite quick success in the industry, right? And social media is wonderful for that, isn't it? And so then I started getting approached by people on a daily. How can I get into VO? Where do I need to go? Blah, blah. And so I started signposting people. Well, you know, I went here for this, and I went here for this, and I went here for this. But also I'm doing it, blah, blah, blah. And then one week I totted up. I'd given away hours of my time telling people what to do. And then I also realised, well, not only have I given hours away of my time, but I've given away, you know, I'd spent thousands of pounds training, right? And at this point, I now had about a year and a half worth of experience of actually doing the thing, because training's all well and good, but it's a bit like learning to drive. Unless you're out there doing it, you're not really learning anything.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally.
So, I sort of totted up. I'd given away all this time, and I'd spent all this money training, and I had this little chunk of experience in the industry. And I've got a background of you know, education and teaching. And I was like, there's a gap in the market here, because you can find a vocal coach anywhere, right? I don't want to be a vocal coach. I don't claim to be. I don't do any vocal coaching. But both my parents had successful marketing companies. My sister had taught me all of the bookkeeping stuff, because I'd never done that. Like, I'd always been employed, and she's an accountant. And my ex-husband, my husband at the time, and still is a really successful creative art director. So he taught me all about branding, and he'd helped me build my brand and So I kind of had all these skill sets from all these different places, and all these people asking me that, and I was like, right, boom, I can definitely do something with this. So that's when I created the Voiceover Foundations course, and I started teaching that, and it was just really, really, really popular. It's been a big...
I thought I didn't. So okay, so your coaching is more towards the business side of voiceover, as opposed
100%.
to.
It's all about the business.
Realise that, right?
Yeah, it's all about business. So it's 4 modules. They can be taken as a whole course, or individually, or pick a mix. And the first module is a very general overview of the industry, but by general, we do deep dive into acronyms of the industry, right? Because there's like hundreds of acronyms that if you've never been in the industry, or you just suddenly randomly get called to do a gig, like if you're really lucky in your early days and the director flies this acronym at you and you don't want to stand there like you really don't know what you're fucking doing. So it's a very general overview of the industry, but with very specific topics in it. The second module is all about your recording space, how to set up, how to use your equipment, about your studio base floor, how to edit properly, so quite techie. And the last 2 are all about the business. So what is marketing, where to do marketing, who do you email, when do you email, what do you even say, your online presence using social media for your business, online casting sites, bookkeeping for voiceover, industry awards, equity, but you name it, it's covered. So
did you say are you going to do school then?
Well, you only just told me about it right now.
Oh, you don't know about it?
Well, I do know about it, but I've got a lot of my plate.
Listen, right, what
if you need to. I don't know.
I respectfully disagree. I think exactly what you've just described is exactly what would flourish on there.
Okay, well, thank you.
It's in the same realm of what Steph and I have been talking about.
I've got to add Jen's suggestion to the voice finds this afternoon, and I've got to get on school. Right, keeping notes. Love that.
Presumably school are taking a cut, though, of what you...
No, so what you do is you have... There's 2 elements to it. They've just released a starter thing, which is $10 a month. And then they've got the main one, which is $100 a month. But if you're... there's a guy in there called Jesse something. And also Empowered Voiceover Academy. They're on there. Yeah. They've got like 100 and something students making... You know, they're doing well off it. So...
Yeah, I mean...
I guess coaching is...
Sorry. No, go on.
I was going to say coaching works in 2 different ways. Like on the one hand, it's coaching in terms of script reading, how to do a better commercial read, etc., which I would like to get into one day. But I feel like I need coaching on how to coach people correctly. I don't want to riff it as such. Yeah. But then there's the other element of it, which is like I said, like when you do like voiceover is it's not a hobby. Like if you want to do it properly, it is a business like any other, and that's why it needs to be treated so. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of that side of it, which not enough people fully grasp and maybe look into, and sort of all the ins and outs of it. And it's nothing overly, like, it doesn't have to be overly complicated, but, like with any business, there are certain steps that you can take to give yourself the best fighting chances of succeeding. So I think what you're doing...
ultimately it can be a hobby. It can. But what I'm teaching, you're not going to want to do if it's a hobby.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely.
Like it like the level of detail that I teach in, you fuck that for a hobby, like, because the thing is with my course, and the caveat I give people before we work together, that now currently the course is 8 years worth of experience now. It's condensed into 4 modules delivered over 6 weeks. So it's a lot of information, and people sometimes, especially after the second business module, they're literally like deer in the headlights. They cannot believe how much is involved outside of just being behind the microphone. And when I'm like, I'm behind the microphone 15% of my business, because not because I'm no good behind the microphone, because I'm actually doing all the stuff to get behind the microphone. And that's, I think, where a lot of people don't succeed. Nothing to do with talent. I am not the most talented VO there is. I'm fine. I'm pretty average. But my business savvy, I'm pretty tenacious. And the physics of it is, you apply enough pressure to anything, something's going to move. That's how it goes.
Yeah, the consistency and the persistence to just keep pushing forward is what always wins. You know, it's like YouTube. My sleep stories thing is doing really well on podcast format, but YouTube is a really difficult area to grow. But it is growing, and again, sometimes it can be a bit like, it takes me about 3 hours to do a sleep story in terms of the recording, the editing, putting all the soundscapes together, and then you do it and you get like 25 views. All right, I'll get loads and loads of downloads on the podcast, but YouTube is where the money is. And you'll get it and you get like 25
The thing is,
views.
though, Michael...
but it's persistent. You've got to keep doing it.
That is the thing. So one of the things that I sort of teach in the course is the ice cube analogy. And so if you take an ice cube out of the freezer and you pop it on the desk and you start turning up the temperature and you want to know when it's going to melt, what temperature did it melt on? And let's say it melts, I don't know, on 22 degrees, whatever. Everyone will be like, well, it melted on that. But it didn't. It started melting as soon as you took it out of the freezer. You just couldn't see it happening. And people give up. They take it out, they put it on the desk, they're like, it's not working, put it back. And that's where people fail, because they don't want to see nothing happening when they're putting all this effort in. But actually, that is where everything's happening, because the root grows down before the fruit comes out. Like, that's what's going to happen.
It's so true, and I think you can take that with so many different elements. And if I apply it to my sleep story thing, which is why I keep doing it. I mean, I do it because I enjoy it. I don't do it like I'm not making any money off it at the moment, but I do it because I do thoroughly enjoy doing it, and I know I can grow in a sort of side business. But yeah, it's like you put all the effort in, and it's the tenacity. Is that the right word? Tenacity. Yeah. To keep doing something with no reward, and keep doing it, because you're building foundations. And I'm seeing the right metrics, so certain things I look at, say, I'm going in the right direction, it's just going to take time. But it's consistently doing something with no reward and still continuing to do it. You keep laying those foundations. I saw another, similar to that analogy you had, there's one famous graphic that I saw once, and it's a guy who's digging, and he's digging in, he's done this like loads of S-shapes in underground, and then he stops, and what he doesn't see is another few more digs, and there's loads of gold. And he's like, don't stop, because you don't know, just keep going, and you can't go on forever. You got to see some sort of
but you do see little bits, don't you, along the way. I think like you and Kimberly Parker and Alexia Kombu are just voice actors, I feel, who marketing wise are really just putting in the hard work, and it's really paid off. It's just chipping away at it, because that's what's needed.
And
there are others too, but
I just think, I just know that it is just science. You apply enough pressure to something, cracks will form. Cracks will form. It doesn't matter if you're doing something really bad
take those clients
or
down.
Really good.
They will use you.
Literally, yeah.
Well, listen, anybody of any form of success, you don't have to look at some of the most famous people in the world. Like, sometimes there's a bit of a bias where sometimes you'll see someone who's doing really well. It didn't just happen. Like, you don't see years.
The overnight successes.
Yeah, exactly. It's an overnight success, but that was 7-8 years in the making. There's so much that goes on before that. So I think the business side of the voiceover is, like I always say, I think we used to use 15% before. I think it's probably about right. That's the amount of time I spend recording versus doing all the other bits and pieces. Like, the least amount of time I spend is in here. On balance compared to everything else. And I think, and that's it. It's just laying all the foundations and the groundwork. And I think the business side of it is important side of it, because it's not just about it's not about just getting a nice microphone and just hitting record and putting something on Instagram and saying, look at the nice work I've done. There's way more to it than that. I mean, you have to do those things so people know what you're doing, but there's a lot more to it than that goes on, I think, behind the scenes, that in order to get the success that a lot of people are potentially looking for, it's a lot more than just doing a new corporate job and posting it on Instagram and trying to get new work off the back. There's tremendous more amounts that go into it.
Well, as the sort of years have gone on, and obviously I've not been in the industry like 10, 15, 20 years, and I'm not claiming that I'm the most experienced, because I'm just not. But even in the short time I've been in the industry and coaching, people are popping up left, right and centre, coaching and doing this, that and the other. And one of the key things that I advocate for is investing in yourself as a business. Like it doesn't matter what the business, like forget the fact you're coming into something that is deemed pretty quirky and niche and creative. Like you're starting a business. What business can you start with under, or, with zero funds behind you? Like you're going to need like at least 500 quid, like to start something decent, so I followed. That's why I got the course accredited, because I sort of noticed, okay, more and more voiceover business coaches popping up. And I was like, right, I need to take my own advice here, and I need to invest in this type of business. So that's when I got the course at CPD accredited, because in the masses online, how do you know that where your money's going is going to be any good? And my course is not cheap. I'm not ashamed to admit, like I charge what I think I'm worth. And if someone's going to be paying a lot of money to do something, they deserve to know that person does what they say they're going to do, and that what they're learning is actually going to be of use. I think that's just really important.
Yeah, definitely agree.
Are you seeing like just in sort of just as maybe the course to aside for a second? Like, are you seeing much in terms of like? I'm seeing a bit of a pushback at the moment. We talk about AI quite a lot because I'm fascinated by the whole subject. But I'm seeing like at the moment quite a big pushback from companies who may have tried using AI and now they're going back to real voice actors. And as such, I'm also seeing, and Henry said it as well when he was on the pod a few weeks ago, he's getting a lot of requests for demo reels. So I suppose really with the Voice Finder, at a time where there seems to be a bit of uncertainty around VOs worrying about where the industry is going, I personally am seeing the opposite. Like, I'm not saying there's loads more work, but I'm saying that I feel that where people may have gone, they're definitely coming back, and more people are maybe trying to get into the industry at a time where they think AI is probably going to try and outdo us all.
Well, I've got maybe a little bit of a strange view on AI, potentially. I don't know if it would be strange coming out of my mouth, but there's a couple of things I think about AI. One, unless you'd asked about it, I wouldn't be giving it airtime. I don't talk about AI. I don't give it airtime. I don't give it energy. I stay in my lane. AI is as much of a competition as my colleagues at winning jobs, as far as I'm concerned. So, and I focus on my career, what I'm doing. So I don't pay attention to AI. Maybe I'm being naive. Maybe I've got the fingers in it, but I just don't, because otherwise I could spend all my energy and time worrying that AI is going to steal this and that. And actually, no, I can just pivot. I can just rethink. I can just work harder. I can just market myself more. I can just find companies that value humans like I do. But no, so I'm not, I don't spend time thinking about AI. However, I do have a bit of an analogy about AI that I kind of feel it's a little bit like Uber. Now, when Uber first came in, it was like, vroom, right? Do you remember? Yeah. It's like huge. Local taxi firms were like up in arms. Black cabs really suffered. Like, it was really, really difficult. But actually, as the time's gone on, everything's found a place. Everything's found a place. I have friends and family members and people that will never use Uber. I'm not using Uber. Don't want to use Uber. So I feel that it is in a booming state. But if you have the right foundations in your voiceover career, you have the right talent, you have the right ethos, and you have the right grit to ride the wave, it will come back round. And it might be tricky for a while, but if you can ride the wave, you're going to be all right. I do believe that. But also there was and it's so annoying, I can never remember the technical term for this, but I always think about this because I think it's really important, especially in the niche that I work in, which is predominantly commercial and TV and radio commercials. there is a lot of research going on at the minute into and this is the scientific word that I can't remember, so it kind of makes this whole thing sound pointless, but bear with me. So something happens when we're watching a commercial, trying to be sold a product or whatever it might be, or even learning something like e-learning. Something happens in a human voice receiving to another human. That's what happens, right?
Mm.
Now,
like an emotional connection.
Yes, but it's more than that. It's like the X Factor kind of thing. Now, there's a couple of ads on at the minute that are clearly AI. Now, they're not clear to anyone else that I know in my life, but they're clear to me because I work with voices. And something weird happened the other day. I was actually watching a documentary, and it was a really harrowing documentary about some really sad thing that happened. And I was watching this with my girlfriend, and I started getting a bit angry inside. And I couldn't understand why. And I was thinking, why am I feeling angry? And there was something about that. First of all, this woman came on the screen, and she looked really nice. Normal, but just really nice. And I thought she looks really nice. And then she started talking about this awful thing that had happened to her. I was getting angry inside. And after about 20 minutes, I realised she was AI. She had been imposed into the documentary. And it was...
Was this on Netflix?
Yeah.
I read about something like this.
And it was the fact that she was conveying this really devastating, harrowing information. But something in it didn't land with me. And it actually made me angry. Right? And I didn't understand why I was angry. But whatever that X factor is that happens between two humans, whether it be audible or audible and visible, it was completely missing with this very nice looking individual. And the same happens in our world of audio when we're selling stuff. How is that really landing? If AI is trying to sell you something, is that X factor thing missing? Are consumer sales and the data and the numbers from that actually going to tell a different story?
Listen, I totally. The reason why I brought this up is because obviously I do see a discourse online. Some people stressing about, especially if you go on LinkedIn, is a cesspool of AI bollocks, and it does my head in. And I actually did a video the other day. I haven't posted it.
Do it.
I did a video where I literally screamed. I said, "Okay, here we go. Let's refresh LinkedIn." Refresh the feed, and it was like talking about, and they're all quite similar in the way they're written. It's always talking about AI, how it's gonna, oh my god, AI is gonna kill the film. It's like, fuck off, you.
But also,
dickhead.
Do you know the thing?
They're all just, excuse my French, but it's just they're all people who really try and shove that down your throat. Usually have a vested interest. It's like the people at OpenAI and ChatGPT. They're trying to get a valuation of $750 billion. They only make 13 to 15 billion in revenue in a year. Their product is by a larger extent pretty garbage for where the amount of money they've had and where it is at the moment. Yeah. But they try and gaslight you into believing that it's going to do this. I'm not saying AI is not going to go anywhere. Like, it's going to cause some disruptions. But the people that give you the narrative to scare you are the ones who have a vested interest in it because they need more people to buy into the bullshit because they've got so much money invested in it. And when you go on LinkedIn and you see these narratives of AI this, AI that, and I just kind of get fed up with it. And I don't like seeing people that I know and, you know, they're worried about their future. Yeah, and I just like, in the real world, what I'm experiencing, and that's why I mentioned it, because I'm trying to give a little bit of positivity for those who might need to hear it. I'm seeing the opposite of the discourse online, and so many other people are as well. Exactly like you said there about the connection. One thing I said, sorry, I'll finish this last bit. The one thing I said a while ago is pretty much exactly what you just said there, is that how is it logical that in a time where so many brands use commercials as a way to like connect with their consumers, you know, especially if it needs something that needs to be warming and caring and all that sort of stuff. Why on earth would you then get a flipping robot voice to do it? I mean, there's no logical sense in it. And I think some people have tried that. And I get now, if it's a casting call via an agent, within the spec, it says, do not sound anything like AI. It needs to feel human. If it's on Voice 123, I did a video about this a couple of weeks ago. Nearly every single day, there's one audition at least on Voice 123 that says, do not sound like AI. It is real. The pushback is real. And I think you just proved the point. The thing I mentioned about Netflix, I did read. I don't know what the show was, but I did read that there was a massive kickoff.
Well, it was really...
documentary.
It was really interesting.
Like fake people.
Yeah, it was really interesting because I'd read this article about this research into AI and how it might affect consumers and how it could affect you if you're learning, like how much are you taking in and, you know, all of this stuff. And it sort of really resonated with me. I thought, I really like that. Yeah, I like that. And then I liked it, but then I had this really visceral, first-hand experience. I was like, why am I angry? Just like watching this woman talking about this really sad thing. I was like, she's fucking me off. And then I just realised, I was like, it wasn't fucking me off because she wasn't human and because she was AI. It was fucking me off because she was relaying such a human message. And she wasn't.
You feel cheated.
Yeah.
I felt so cheated. I was like,
yeah, I think when you go on social media now, like I mean, that Sora, they created their social media app, which was all AI generated content, and everyone's like, oh yeah, because we can now use Disney products and all that sort of stuff. 3 months they lasted.
Yeah.
They started in January. Sorry, they started in September. They closed it down in January. This is a multi-billion-pound company had to shut down the app because 95% of the users dropped off in 3 months because all AI garbage, the novelty wore off. And now if I use social media and you see something that's AI generated, I just immediately feel like, why are you trying to cheat me into believing something that's real? Like, it angers me, it bothers me.
yeah,
What I find alarming. What I find alarming is when you look in the comments and people are buying into it. It's like, mate, the scammers are looking for you.
Yeah.
Like, geez Louise, they're going to have a field day with you.
Yeah.
It's like, how can you not tell that that's fake? Like, but I think that's what it is. I think the negative reaction stems from that idea that, like, there should be anything that's AI generated needs to have a label on. This isn't real. Like, I don't know why these rules, and I've made this argument many times in the past. Sometimes the only time a rule change will come in is when the people that can make the policy changes are the ones that are affected. Until then, they don't care.
100%.
So let's get, the Prime Minister or President, in an AI format saying something as part of a pretend secret recording that can cause all these problems. Now they'll give a shit.
Yeah.
Because things need to be labelled AI so people can stop being hoodwinked. Some things are so reactionary. If you think about deepfakes and stuff, the amount of trouble that can be caused of something that isn't real, because if it gets spread online and goes viral, people believe it.
Yeah.
And it's happened many times already. People believe stuff, they react to it, and it's like, mate, this is all made up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that negative reaction comes from that, from that idea that you've been lied to and you've been tricked into feeling an emotion. And then whether you realise it later on or even at the beginning, it's like, but this isn't real. This isn't a real voice. This isn't a real person. And it pisses people off.
Yeah. But I was just going to go back to your thing about LinkedIn, which, man, I fucking hate LinkedIn. So I cross-post a lot, right? But I tweak because Instagram, I'm like, fuck this, fuck that. But I go to LinkedIn, I feel like, oh, I shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
But,
same.
Yeah, it's quite funny about, giving so many people in that industry giving so much time to the dreaded AI that I just come back to where we apply energy, whether it's thought or actually typing a post or whatever, sharing an article, where we apply energy comes into fruition. That's just happens. That happens. So if I start worrying about AI, my brain is naturally programmed to seek out evidence that I need to be worried about.
Yeah.
So suddenly I will see all these jobs going for AI, this, that, the other. This client's now on AI. They used to be on me, blah, blah. But I'm just not going to do that to myself because it's there whether I think about it or not. So I'm just going to leave it the fuck.
It's a bit like the red car thing, isn't it? Like if you walk down the street and just mind your business and then suddenly start looking for red cars, they're everywhere.
Well, no, not even that. But same as that. When you're going to get a new car, right? And you're like, not that happens that often, not in my life anyway. But
we're getting a new car Monday, could just say.
Right, well, I just got a new car. I just got a new car, and it's this quite new make of car. And I'd never heard of it before. Waiting for the car, which took 5 weeks. How annoying. First world problems. Yeah, so and literally every other car. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. And it's just reinforces.
Yeah, what's that called? I can't think what it's called.
Anyway. But that's how we're designed. We're designed for that.
Yeah.
So if we see scarcity, think scarcity, we'll find it. If we see abundance, and I know it kind of sounds all a bit like bougie or whatever, but it's fucking true, man.
It's not. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, we went to, we had problems with our car, and we went back to Renault. We're like, look, we're going to try and change it. So they sold us a new one there and then, and we had to wait 5 weeks. And we decided to go for a hybrid one, which thank God, because it's now €2 a litre on petrol. Yeah. That's absolutely disgusting. Yeah. So yeah, but then saying that, so then now we pick this car and we're like, right, okay, let's try and find one every single time we go out.
Yeah, you will.
It's a strange thing. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess obviously, I think touching on some important points. I think the industry as a whole, there's a lot of things that are changing. There is a lot of uncertainty. There is a bit of a fear amongst certain people, and I do think that whilst there is an obvious, sorry, not an obvious, there is a realistic thing to be concerned about. I also do think that for a lot of people that are over worrying, I think try not to do it. And I think with you getting all the sign-ups on the Voice Finder, if you're getting people doing your course, I'm seeing people online trying to sign up for coaches, and people wouldn't do that in a dying industry.
Well, no, not
There's
that,
a lot of
Michael.
hope there.
Not only that, but I mean, I can only speak for myself, and this is not earnings. I'm just going to point out really, really clearly. But I must have auditioned for in excess of £70,000 worth of gigs this year. Audition, right? This is not a dying industry. These are not jobs I've won. I've not won 70k jobs in April. Right? Okay, I'm not that good. But the auditions that have come in, they're proper auditions. They're big auditions. They're juicy auditions.
Yeah.
This is not the time to be worrying. It's the time to be focusing.
Yeah. Oh, love that. What a great way to end things. Love that.
I've just looked at the time. We've
just
crossed over an hour, and it's
Thank you so much, Lizzie. I've got so many takeaways. My mind is a buzz, and I hope I haven't said anything. I've already opened.
I hope I haven't said anything inappropriate or that's going to make someone hate me. That's all I'm worried about.
No, not in the slightest.
No.
I think it's
it's on them if they do. They've taken something weird.
I think
you've been brilliant.
I feel like there's loads more to talk about. We can't obviously go on forever, but I just feel like there's.
Yeah, we'll have to get you back another time.
Yeah,
Will you be at One Voice?
Sorry, darling.
Will you be at One Voice?
No, I will not be at One Voice this year. I mean, the thing is, because I'm do it properly or don't do it at all. To go to One Voice for the weekend, right? And because I have to obviously hire a dress and stay there and blah, blah, blah. Literally costs about £1,000, right? Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that ordinarily. But I've just spent a fuckload of money on a new business and rebuilding it, right?
And a puppy.
And a new car.
Yeah.
And so I decided, I'm just going to focus my efforts and sponsoring the VO social and stuff like that. So it has been a big, expensive year for me. This fucking puppy, can I show you what he's doing? Look, he's ripped my plant. Where is he? He's ripped my plant.
Oh no.
I love all that natural light you've got coming straight in.
I know, and you hear the little bird song occasionally.
Yeah, I heard that.
Lovely. Yeah,
I know. I'm like
really nice.
I'm like the weirdest Disney princess ever.
I'd watch that film. I would.
Yeah, would you?
Thank you so much, Lizzie. It's been brilliant.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. So no, I'm not going to One Voice because.
We'll have to catch up another time.
I've got Stephanie to say hello, but I'll wait till we finish.
It's like show and tell, this. I want to... What can I show you?
But sorry, can I just add the other thing that I just think is really important? Sure. I don't care if you add it. Well, no, I do care if you add this in, actually, because I do think it's important. I just want to caveat that joining the Voice Finder is not going to change anybody's life. It's not going to change someone's career, and I'm not going to pretend it's going to. It's just not. But it's just quite a sensible thing to do to increase your online footprint and be part of a professional community. But fuck no, it's not going to change your life. You're probably not going to win your biggest gig off there or anything like that. And I don't want people thinking that is going to happen. I've got to be realistic, just like anything that we do in our careers, Anyway, so that's just the...
But I think any professional will know that. I think we come in with our eyes open, knowing actually this is one stream, isn't it? This is one additional thing.
Well, and this is the thing that I say to people. I get a lot of questions. Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? Are you going to do that? No, it's like £10 a month. There's only so much I'm going to be able to do, for people.
Yeah.
But I just say this is a really small string on the bow of many things you should be doing, and that's really important for people.
No, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, I'm pro P2P. I know some people have a bit of a love-hate relationship. I spoke to someone, I won't say who, but I had a Zoom chat with someone, I think it was this time last week, sort of bit of career advice and just general chit-chat about growing the VO business. And I was like, look, listen, if you're not getting that many auditions, I personally think going down the route of a P2P and exposing your ability to get more auditions is only going to help keep refining your craft. Because if you're if you're not ever auditioning, then inevitably when one comes in, you're going to feel a bit like a fish out of water.
Yeah.
And some people feel like, no, it's not. Don't waste your money on P2Ps. And I can understand why some people say don't pay money on P2Ps because they think, if you compete against loads of people. I personally would say the opposite. I'd say, well, you can say that way, but if you're sending emails out
to a P2P.
Well, yeah,
I'm just generalising.
Yeah.
I'm just saying in general. The idea of sign up to sites where you can get potential work, I'm all for it, because when those jobs do come through, if you are relying heavily on email, if it's working for you, then forget everything that I'm saying. But I'm talking about specifically a scenario where the audition spec is relatively low and you may be doing one audition a week or a fortnight, which I know some people do, but they refuse to go on P2Ps. It's like, by doing the P2Ps, you're putting yourself in a real-world situation where you have to keep working on your craft. And I think, like rust sets in otherwise. You know what I mean? So
I think there's different standards. So, like as part of my course, for example, we cover online casting, pay-to-play sites, online directories, blah, blah, blah. Now, I've got a whole list that I recommend, right? I do. And I've got a list of that I don't. And I think there are some places you can be listed that people will just be like, why are you on there? Like, why are you on there? There are a couple of places like that. But 100%, Michael, like, I am listed on the arse end of everywhere as a voice talent, pretty much. But, I don't often pay for my profiles. I'll often go for the free ones. I'm all about increasing my online footprint. But 100%, it's another way of earning money. Yes, but, I do have certain, requirements for, voiceover, auditioning on voiceover casting sites, like, does the fee align? What's the usage at?
Yeah, there are rules,
like, as long as you're being sensible, then absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, right. Well, let's. We'll
let you go.
I'd literally go off on another tangent, so let's wrap it up there. We'll try and do it for a part 2.
That'd be great.
But thank you so much for taking the time for us.
Thanks
today.
for having me, and
really...
make sure, if I've been really rude about anyone, for fuck's sake, take it out.
No. There's no editing on this podcast as you get it. So prepare. So we're every week we're at risk of getting cancelled.
Yeah, we could have every week. Join us. Thank you so much, Lizzie, and we'll see you all next time.
Yeah, cheers, folks. Thanks for listening.
Thank
we'll
you.
See you
Bye.
on the next episode. Cheers, man.
Bye.